Yeah, good afternoon. Which one I think we're discussing types of federalism. Okay, so I think symmetric we discussed, asymmetric we discussed, special category status. Okay, yeah. So someone is asking, sir, what is this protected area regime? I think I told you, but if in case you did not note down the points, remember that protected area permit. I told you which state was in use for that. Yeah, so you can go through it. I mean, you can go and just search, you'll get an idea. If in case you did not note down, please note down again. So where you have written ILP, there itself somewhere you can add. What is this concept of protected area permit? Of course, as I told, ILP is for whom? ILP is for Indians, means not part of that particular state. Protected area permit is for whom? This is for foreigners. Understood? So that is, if you recall, ILP inner line permit, Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act. So this is foreigners, what do you call this order, 1958. So there is a specific order for them. This is first point for foreigners. Second point, foreigners permitted area order. Sorry, protected area order. (1958). Again, which ministry? Largely Ministry of Home Affairs. Larger regulation is by them. And sure, which state? As I told, obviously same. Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. So this is entire one. Now, I mean, in addition, you can say parts of Sikkim, Himachal, UK, Rajasthan, and of course JK Ladakh. Now parts of all these also you need for protect what you call the special permit to enter. Foreigners protected area order 1958. Of course, normally for what? Same 10 days. This is 10 days. At least inner line permit is for around what? 50 days. This is 10 days. For 10 days. Plus any extension. Again, Ministry of Home Affairs will decide that. Normally extension is for a week, they tell. Core points, it is for whom, which order, which states. Keep that in mind. Of course, it's what? Security wise you have to protect. That's the reason obviously they have introduced all these things. Fine? Okay, that is your foreigners protected area order 1958. Yes, then someone has a doubt saying, so special category status, which finance commission? So finance commission in general, 5th finance commission, if in case you want to add to that. Smaller ones, I mean, of course, when you revise it, you can keep adding that, but just because some doubts were there, I was just clarifying. Where you have written special category status, morning you wrote the topic. So we had mentioned 5th finance commission, right? To be more specific, it is which one? 5th finance commission. Unsure. But obviously, I mean, normally we discuss that in mains, but just keep it in mind. So because as of today what happened, or especially because of 14th finance commission itself, that we'll discuss again, because we still have not discussed fiscal federalism, finance commission, everything. Vertical devolution has increased. Even today, what is vertical devolution? I mean, what is the percentage? 41%. But under 14th finance commission itself, it was how much? 42%. So that's why as and when 14th vertical devolution increased, the concept of this special category status has more or less come down. In other words, both 14th Finance Commission and 15th Finance Commission has not mentioned or discussed about special category status. That's why largely you can assume special category status concept is outdated. We don't use that. In other words, Government of India doesn't use this much. From which one? 14th and 15th Finance Commission era, because it was not mentioned by both the commissions. All that is not necessary, but just that's actually broadly a mains topic. Fine, okay. So inner line permit, all those ones we discussed, okay, fair enough then. That's largely your symmetric and asymmetric federalism. And then again, if in case they ask specific about cooperative federalism, there is no specific concept they can ask for prelims. Or just to mention, because they can't ask a question on this so easily, whatever examples are there, all those examples anyhow we'll discuss it separately. In simple terms, cooperative federalism means you can take it as what? What is the principle? Yeah, what is the principle? Strong states make strong nation. That's the principle of cooperative federalism. Other than that, obviously, there is vertical cooperative federalism, there is horizontal cooperative federalism between center and states as well as horizontal between the states. So many examples are there. If you recall your vertical cooperative federalism, what are the examples? GST Council, NITI Aayog, rationalization of centrally sponsored schemes, interstate council. For horizontal, you have zonal council, sharing of best practice, so many. That's not typically a prelims topic, that's a purely a mains topic. It's fine. Like how you had so many topics under asymmetric, like special category status, inner line permit, that kind of topics you don't have it here. So for mains aspect, that's not necessary. If you want to understand, okay, that is also not necessary, forget. Dharma of center state relation is also not necessary. Again, competitive federalism also that's another type. Of course, healthy competition between center and state. So many indexes are there, obviously. You know that. Famous examples are what? Famously, indices. Like what all, if you recall? Swachh Bharat ranking, Good Governance Index, SDG ranks, so many are there. Composite Water Management Index, all of these are your examples for competitive federalism. There are still so many that, again, as I told, it's a purely mains topic, we need not discuss it here. And similarly of confrontation also, again there you need not discuss it. Okay, few examples maybe we can discuss it from the, again, prelims perspective. Swachh Bharat ranking, Good Governance Index, SDG ranks, etc. These are all competitive angle. Then comes your confrontational. Confrontational, as the name itself says, is what? Kind of opposition between center and states as well as between the states sometimes. Of course, under that vertical confrontation you have between center and states. For that, obviously, so many examples are there. Which one? Tamil Nadu opposing NEP, or Tamil Nadu opposing NEET, Kerala opposing CAA, UCC, or Karnataka itself opposing or conducting My Tax My Right campaigns. So many examples are there. But just to understand, so how is it legal angle? Only from legal perspective, because for the prelims angle. See, for example, if you take example, Tamil Nadu opposing which one? NEP and NEET. Tamil Nadu opposing NEP, NEET. Now, if in case as from prelims perspective, what are the points that you have to keep it in mind? Again, we'll talk about Kerala also, so that you will get a better idea. Kerala opposing which one? UCC, CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. Karnataka also conducted My Tax My Right campaign, if you want that example. Karnataka, My Tax My Right campaign. My Tax My Right campaign. Like that, so many examples are there. Understood. Now let's understand it from the legal perspective, because that they may ask it as a prelims question also. Now let's look at first CAA. Understood. First point, CAA means what? You're talking about Citizenship Amendment Act. So first legal point there. Citizenship you are talking. So citizenship is which subject? It's a union subject. That means who can make laws? Parliament can make laws. And what does the constitution say? Constitution clearly says that if Parliament has made act on any particular subject, and so then what is the options for states then? States have to mandatorily implement it. In other words, states have no option to oppose central law. States cannot oppose central laws or parliament laws. So they have no option at all. So in other words, practically what does it mean? Can Kerala say that we will not implement CAA? Answer is what? No, they don't have an option, they have to implement it. If they have any legal issues, what they have to do? They have to go and question it in the judiciary. They cannot say that we will not implement CAA, legally not allowed. Clear? That is your first one with respect to Citizenship Amendment Act. UCC they have opposed it, but UCC we still don't have. So whenever the Parliament passes an act on UCC, even then it's the same logic. Because Parliament has passed an act, you have no option, you have to just implement it. Now next comes your issue with respect to Kerala itself opposes, if you have heard. Kerala itself recently, if you have heard. Kerala opposed PM Shri scheme. Kerala has opposed PM Shri program. That's a recent program. Now what is the logic? How can they oppose it? Again the logic is what? This is a welfare scheme. Correct? This is a welfare scheme. Now the option is what? States can oppose it. Again within that there are so many logics, but states can oppose it. That's left to you. And short, same logic applies for what? NEP. NEP is what then? Policy. Same. States can oppose it. So act you cannot oppose. Policies, programs you can oppose. Policies and programs can be opposed. Fine. Now the other logic is what? Next is with respect to NEET. Can Tamil Nadu say that we will not implement NEET? Again here two logics, two legal angles are there. First one, it is based on what? First point, it is based on Supreme Court judgment. So in other words, actually it is Supreme Court which introduced NEET. And if you apply Article 141, what does Article 141 say? Again we will mention it in judiciary. Any order or judgment of Supreme Court is binding on everybody in India. So that is Article 141. Understood? What does it mean? Any orders or judgments given by Supreme Court is binding on everybody in India. Now you tell, that means what is the logic? So can the state say that we will not implement it? No, they don't have an option. But then what happened? So in other words, state don't have option. Now based on this judgment, so who introduced it? Government of India made rules, detailed rules for NEET rules. Government of India made rules for NEET. Now the logic is what? So NEET means you are talking about which one? Education subject. So because it's an education subject, now another point is what for this? Education is which list? Concurrent list. Now what is the option? What does the constitution say? In case of concurrent list, obviously both who can pass acts? Both can pass acts. What if there is an overlap? Always centre's law will prevail. But there is an exception. The exception is what? If the state legislature passes an act on the same subject, even if there is a central law, and if the state law gets president's assent, then the state law will get an exception. In other words, can Tamil Nadu say that we will not implement NEET? Yes, they can say that. But the point is what? Already there are detailed rules made by Government of India. Now what Tamil Nadu has to do? Tamil Nadu, that's why, has passed an act. Tamil Nadu Assembly has passed Tamil Nadu Exemption from NEET Act. It's not yet become an act, you can say bill. But that should be given assent by whom? President. So Tamil Nadu governor had forwarded it to the president. But how will the president take the decision? Aid and advice of Council of Ministers headed by PM. Obviously, why will that happen? So that is a practical reason Tamil Nadu has still not got an exception. In other words, if president gives the assent to that bill, what Tamil Nadu will get? Tamil Nadu will get an exemption. Of course, practically it's not so easy, because if Tamil Nadu gets an exception, then what will happen? Karnataka will also pass, Kerala will also pass, then the overall intention of NEET itself is gone. So that's why practically president will not give it. But the legal point is what? Please write that. With respect to concurrent subjects, this again will get repeated in your center-state relation. With respect to concurrent subjects, even if there is a center law, parliament's law, with respect to concurrent subjects, even if there is a central law, state legislature can still pass an act. Even if there is a central law, state legislature can still pass an act, or you can say a bill, whatever. Okay, state legislature can still pass an act. But here what should happen? And get the assent of the president. So president is the keyword here. And get the assent of president. And get the assent of president. So then what will happen? Respective state will get an exception. Respective state will get an exception. respective state will get an exemption. I'm sure that's what is the Tamil Nadu angle. So this is the legal angles associated with it. Clear? Okay, fine. So that is in the confrontational federalism. Other aspects, obviously, okay. Another one, what West Bengal, this again, I'll normally keep telling it also. West Bengal said that will not allow CBI to function, NITI to function. Again, same logic. What is it? According to the constitution, states should ensure that the central agencies function without any disturbance in your state. In other words, so what West Bengal cannot say then? West Bengal cannot say that will not allow CBI or to NIA to function in your state. That power is not there with the states. You just have to allow. Giving general consent to the CBI, that's a different issue. In general, it can be IRS IT officer, IRS custom officer, or railways, or CBI, or NIA, or CRPF. States have to allow them to function. Of course, specific rules, everything will be a little different, but you cannot oppose functioning of central government ministries or departments or organizations in your state. Federalism will be affected. Is it clear? Yeah, that we'll discuss again under your center-state relation. Okay, so then of course under confrontational federalism, if you take which one, horizontal confrontation, which one are the examples? Interstate water conflict, interstate border conflicts are also example. Again, that we need not discuss here. Interstate water conflicts, we'll discuss which one? Article 262, interstate relation. Border conflicts in a way, Article 2, Article 3, we'll discuss it there. So that's a prelims angle again, that's why I'm not discussing it here. Fiscal federalism to an extent will matter because so many few points we'll discuss here itself. Please put the heading. Fiscal federalism, whatever is important from prelims, we'll only discuss it from that perspective. Financial relationship between center and states as well as between the states. And so obviously, historically, that means right from the original constitution, greater financial power has always given to whom? Center. So that's why vertical devolution has to always should happen. Yeah, whatever, that's a different angle. The most important that we have to discuss here is which one? Finance Commission. Of course, what kind of body? Constitutional body, Article 280. So we'll not do it to every body separately. So many factual bodies are there that we'll keep it at the end. For example, NCSC, NCST, all of them. But Finance Commission, Election Commission, CAG, whenever the context comes, then and there itself we'll try to finish it so that it will be easy for you also to read in context. Or else there is a file related to it, that also I'll upload if you want to read all the bodies together, even that is fine. Fine, okay. So that is the one. Article 280. Second, who will appoint? Obviously, President. President establishes it every, how many years once? 5 years once. President establishes it once in 5 years. Once in 5 years. Fine. 3. What kind of body is it? Temporary body. Why is it a temporary body? Once report is submitted, it's discontinued. Fine. 3. 4. Quasi-judicial body means, quasi means what obviously? Partial, means it has a kind of a partial judicial kind of powers they do have. It's a quasi-judicial body. Understood? Then there is something called as terms of reference. This is drafted by whom? Drafted by Government of India. Terms of reference means what? Those subject matters on which respective Finance Commission should conduct a detailed study and submit a report to the President. Those terms of reference are unilaterally drafted by whom? Government of India. That's why that's a controversy saying that how can Government of India draft the terms of reference individually? When Finance Commission recommendations will have impact on whom? States. How can you not even consult states while drafting it? Drafting means not drafting the report. Drafting what? Terms of reference. Terms of reference, understand, right? Like the President of India will tell the Finance Commission, see, these are the 10 points. Please go study on these 10 points, like GST related issue, State Finance Commission related issue, whatever they'll tell you. Those 10 points you have to go read, make a detailed report, submit it to the President. So Government of India does not even consult government states asking which issue do you want Finance Commission to study. They don't even ask you. Clear? That's why it's a controversy. The next one, obviously reports are what? Reports are non-binding. Reports, recommendations, whatever are non-binding. Reports are non-binding. Fine? Then composition. What does Finance Commission normally consist of? 1 plus 4, one chairperson plus 4 members. All these is regulated by which act? Finance Commission Act 1951. And short, something like they'll tell that, so broadly you should have expertise in public administration plus expertise one or other way related to the economics, financial aspects of government. 1 plus 4. Finance Commission Act 1951. Fine? Yeah, just another fact. First Finance Commission who? K.C. Niyogi. And sure, there are so many obviously. At present, which Finance Commission are we implementing? 15th Finance Commission. Which year? 21 to 26. Of course, who is the head? 15th Finance Commission, N.K. Singh is the head. Now, President has already constituted 16th Finance Commission, which will be from 2026 to 2031. That is 16th Finance Commission. Who is the head? Arvind Panagaria. Who was the first vice chairperson of NITI Aayog. Arvind Panagaria is the chairperson of 16th Finance Commission, first vice chairperson of NITI Aayog. 16th Finance Commission 2026 to 31, Arvind Panagaria. Right? 14th, okay, we'll come to that vertical, horizontal, we'll come to that now. Yeah, then other facts, obviously, what is it? A very famous one, which is what? Very famously, just to understand, Government of India, states, local bodies. So here, everything is taken care by whom? Union Finance Commission, Article 280. Financial relation between center and states, State Finance Commission. Article 243I, Article 243Y. So both are obviously constitutional bodies. Of course, when you say 15th Finance Commission, you take first, as of today's vertical devolution, how much is it? 41%. Actually, it is 42 only. That 1% is subtracted because of whose share? Jammu Kashmir share, they have subtracted it. Then horizontal devolution, if you take, there is a 6-point formula. If you recall which one, I think that they have asked it as a prelims question also. One is tax income distance, which gets 45% weightage, area of the state, which gets 15% weightage, 2011 census population, which again gets 15% weightage, demographic performance, means largely for south and western states, because they have controlled the population, giving an incentive 12.5%, and then environment and ecology, means forest cover in simple terms, 10%, and then efforts taken by you to improve the tax collection, that is 2.5%. They may ask you simple question like, which factor has the highest weightage? Which one? Tax income distance. Or they may ask you what kind of increasing to decreasing order, ascending, descending kind of, and also they may ask. Least is which one? Tax effort. So this is your 15th Finance Commission horizontal devolution formula. 16th we have to see. They may continue, they may change, that's left to them. Demographic performance, environment, tax efforts. Demographic performance is 12.5, environment is 10, tax effort is 2.5. Right? Okay, so that is the one. Then again related to fiscal federalism, one or other way it will always be in news. First is what? Government of India related welfare schemes. First, what we broadly call it as central sector schemes. %100% funded by Government of India. Again, not as a rule, related to union and concurrent subjects, largely, not necessarily, largely, normally related to union and concurrent list. Understood? Implementation also by center. Means this money will not go to the states. Fine. So which ones? Example, very famous ones. BharatNet. Namami Gange, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. So many are there. These are all your central sector schemes. Right? Same, obviously, the most important kind of schemes. Now, compared to this, which are the most important? These are most important, obviously. Normal related with subject, concurrent and state subjects. Implemented by states. Funding shared between center and states. General category states 80-20, 70-30, 60-40 like that. Special category states 90-10. Understood? Now, as I told, special category states concept are not there. There is a concept called as whatever, that is not necessary. Right? Now, related to centrally sponsored schemes, which concept will come in addition? Whatever money that the center gives to states, out of that, tied grants. Linked to conditionalities. In other words, what does that mean? Autonomy to states is less. Make it opposite. Now what has increased? Untied grants has increased in the recent decades. Just the opposite. No conditions. Means center will give you money. You decide how to spend, largely. No conditions, autonomy to states more, or more autonomy to states. More autonomy to the states. So all this is related to, if you have heard actually, within centrally sponsored schemes, now they have divided into three types: core scheme, core of the core scheme, optional scheme. Actually, that is based on broader concept called as, if you have heard, rationalization of centrally sponsored scheme, based on subcommittee of chief ministers, rationalization of CSS, based on NITI Aayog had appointed this committee, subcommittee on state CMs, steps not on, subcommittee of CMs. Unsure. Now based on that, what they have done? Core schemes are which one? Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. core of the core means most important. MG Narega, National Social Assistance Program, and then optional schemes. So like what you call border area development program, like that, so many are there, but not very important one. This is overall concept called as rationalization, means they try to bring reforms in centrally sponsored schemes. Core CSS, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, there are still so many things actually. Core of the core, MG Narega, National Social Assistance Program. In fact, I mean National Program for Development of SC, Development of ST, for Development of OBC also are there. And then optional schemes. There was also a committee for that. After that, NITI, I mean that was during Manmohan Singh era, and NITI Aayog appointed this subcommittee of chief ministers. Overall, based on their recommendations, they have done this. Border area development program, optional. Border area development program, National Social Assistance Program. Not very important, just to keep it in mind. That's it. A little more important actually is which one? This is actually your again center state relation concept. It will get repeated there again, but just clarifying the concept of what? Grants in aid. If you recall, there are actually broadly 3 types. Here we will mention 2. Question is what? Statutory grants, article 275. So by whom? Recommended by Finance Commission. And showed only to needy states. So whoever has the need, only for them it is recommended, not to all, in other words. Only for needy states. Now why is it called as statutory then? Simple logic, because approved by Parliament. This power is for only whom? Only by Government of India. So only Government of India has this power. Only by Government of India. Special focus on tribal areas. Special focus on ST dominated areas, tribal areas. Special focus on tribal areas. That is the concept of statutory grants. Finance Commission recommends it, not to all of them, whoever is in need. And why is it called as statutory? Because who approves it? Parliament approves it, and only Government of India can give it. Our Government of India has the power to give statutory grants, of course, to the states. Not for everybody, and specially focused on tribal areas. If you apply the same concept in a bit different way, the concept is called as what? Discretionary grants. As the word itself says, discretion means what? It is left to the governments to decide. Article 282. In short, this is by whom? Available to, you can say, available to both Government of India and states. Means Government of India also has the power to give it, states also has the power to give it. Understood? Practically we do, I mean theoretically in the constitution they don't mention it, in practice we used to give it. By who? Planning Commission. Based on what? This we don't even mention it now, sometimes I mention it in class, sometimes I don't. Based on whom? A formula called as Gadgil-Mukherjee formula. Now Planning Commission itself is not there, that's why who will take care of it now? Now, not NITI Aayog, because NITI Aayog does not have any money related power. It doesn't handle any finances. Now handled by whom? Ministry of Finance handles it. That is your discretionary grants. Obviously, practically what used to happen, because it was decided by Planning Commission, obviously who will get more? Discretionary means whichever same parties are there in power, so they will get more. Technically, remember, practically what they keep calling it as? Double engine ka sarkar. Double engine ka sarkar practically means this. If same party is in power, you will get more grants for obvious reason. Fine. So now Finance Ministry will handle it. Then there is concept of which one? So ideally which should be more? Just to understand, ideally statutory grant should be more, because normally this is a question that equation kind of a one, you should always keep it in mind. Ideally statutory grant should be more than discretionary grant, though in practice it is the opposite. Then there is a concept of other grants, if you recall. It was again given by Finance Commission only for which one? If you recall, Assam, Bihar, Bengal and Odisha. special states, because the jute products, that's not necessary here, leave it, that we'll discuss under your other grants. Ideally statutory grants should be more. Clear? If in case you want, again as a body related question, make 2 columns, write Planning Commission, NITI Aayog. Anyhow, NITI Aayog is a separate concept, so we'll discuss it once for all. Anyhow, the concept of Planning Commission came. If you do it only as bodies, you will find it as a kind of a factual one, you just have to by heart it. Make 2 columns, Planning Commission, NITI Aayog. Very quickly sum up. So under Planning Commission, established in 1950. Established 1950. This one, January 1st, 2015. That is 1950. To be more precise, March 1950, that's not necessary. Jan 1st, 2015. But I mean, common point is what? 2 common points are there. Both are executive body. Both are headed by PM. So both are common. If you want there itself you write, or else wherever you are possible. Both are executive bodies. Both headed by PM. Both are executive bodies. Both headed by PM. Both headed. First we will write the difference. If possible, any few other extra differences we will write. Both headed by PM. Fine. Then under Planning Commission, which one? What is it? Quasi-federalism. It supported quasi-federalism. In other words, quasi-federalism means what? Strong center. Planning Commission, quasi-federalism. NITI Aayog is what? Cooperative, competitive federalism. NITI Aayog, cooperative, competitive federalism. Under Planning Commission, power to allocate finances to the states, resources to the states. Planning Commission, power to allocate finances, resources to the states. Power to allocate resources to the states. Power to allocate resources to the states. Of course, NITI Aayog, just now I told what is it? No such powers. NITI Aayog, no such powers. Planning Commission, state CMs were not members. I will separately write about NITI Aayog. Planning Commission, state CMs were not members. Here opposite, they are members. State CMs are not members under Planning Commission. Here opposite point, they are members. State CMs are not members, state CMs are members. State Finance Minister, not State Finance Minister, State Chief Minister. Under NITI Aayog you are telling, no, it is only related to CM. State Finance Minister, GST Council. So not in NITI Aayog, please don't confuse. NITI Aayog has got nothing to do with money related issues. Absolutely. That is exactly the reason Planning Commission was very, very controversial with respect to which one? Money. That you are deciding how much states should get. Who gave you the power was a major controversy. State CMs used to oppose it a lot. That's why any such concept is taken out here. Fine. So under NITI Aayog, states are members. We'll write it separately if you have the concept called as regional council, governing council. Under Planning Commission then, power to impose its policies and programs on states. Planning Commission, power to impose its policies and programs on states. Power to impose its policies and programs on states. Power to impose its policies and programs on states. NITI Aayog, only a think tank. Think tank means what obviously? Just give some recommendation, that's it. NITI Aayog, only a think tank. In other words, you don't have the power to impose your policies. Power to impose its policies and programs on state. NITI Aayog, Planning Commission, NITI Aayog, only a think tank. And now specifically if you want mention NITI Aayog, some, when is it established, we have written just composition under that. Composition. Whatever important points related to it, I will just finish off once for all. Planning Commission, other than that, it doesn't matter much for us. Composition, NITI Aayog, obviously what? Headed by PM. That we anyhow we have written it, but just to clarify it at once for all. Headed by PM. Then Vice Chairperson appointed by PM. So at present, if you have heard, Suman Berry, Vice Chairperson appointed by PM. Tenure, PM decides. Vice chairperson appointed by PM, tenure decided by PM. Means how many years PM will decide? Tenure decided by PM. Then governing council. Governing council. Famously called as what? Famously called as Team India Hub. Famously called as Governing Council, famously called as Team India Hub. So Prime Minister Modi described it as Team India Hub because obviously what is it? Includes CMs of all the states. Team India Hub includes CMs of all states plus UTs with legislature. Includes CMs of all states plus UTs with legislature. It also includes whom? Plus LGs of other UTs. LG means what? Lieutenant governors of other UTs. CMs of all states plus UTs with legislature plus lieutenant governors of other states. Lieutenant governors of other states. Lieutenant governors of other states. Fine, that is governing council concept. Then regional council. Regional council means what? Entire India is divided into regions. Regional council for specific group of states. Regional council for specific group of states. Regional council for specific group of states. Specific group of states. Fine, then of course, if you have heard ex officio members will be there. If you want that also, right? 4 ex officio members. Ex officio means what? Automatically will become, who are the obvious point? 4 ex officio members who are union cabinet ministers. Normally finance minister, all of them. 4 ex officio members who are cabinet, union cabinet, government of India cabinet ministers. Of course, who will choose? Appointed by PM. Appointed or nominated, you can say. PM will choose who are those 4. 4 ex officio members who are union cabinet ministers chosen by PM. In addition, obviously, some subject matter experts, all of them will be there. That's a different issue. Now, if you recall, what are NITI Aayog's famous initiatives? Please clarify there. Famous initiatives. Famous initiatives. Anyhow, this you should have done it under programs, but because remember, NITI Aayog, they just completed 10 years. 2015 it was established. 2025 it completed 10 years. Of course, now it will be 11th year. Famous initiatives. Okay, the list overall you write. First one is what? Aspirational District Development Program. Even aspirational block. Aspirational district / block you write. Aspirational district / block development program. Block means take it as largely taluka. Aspirational district / block development program. Fine. B. AIM. AIM means what? Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Innovation Mission. ATL. Atal Tinkering Lab. All these are specific schemes that they will discuss it under your schemes. Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Tinkering Labs. Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Tinkering Labs. Innovation Mission. Atal Tinkering Labs. Fine, that is second one. Then National Nutrition Mission. Poshan Abhiyan. National Nutrition Mission. National Nutrition Mission. Then E-Amrut. E-Amrut is for what? Electronic EV vehicles. EV. Electric vehicles. E-Amrut. E-M-R-I-T. E-Amrut. If you have dot in bracket, EV vehicles or EVs. Then National Data and Analytics Platform. Of course, the name is as e-governance. National Data and Analytics Program or Platform. Data and Analytics Platform. And so even for AI also they have, particularly AI for all initiative also they have for artificial intelligence. This is initiatives. Then which one? You can say indices. Various indices they promote, they give. Index, plural indices. What are the famous indexes? Index given by NITI. SDG, correct, SDG. In fact, if you know, the SL will write the point. SDG index. In bracket you write, NITI is responsible for monitoring of India's progress towards SDG. Niti Aayog is responsible to monitor India's progress towards SDG. So which state ranked 1, all those one, that's factual part, that again they'll discuss under your schemes and indexes. Niti Aayog Niti Aayog is responsible for monitoring India's progress towards SDG. When that is SDG index. 2. See what composite water management index. Composite water management index. Composite water management index. Composite water management index. Then SEQI, school education quality index. School education quality index. If you recall, actually state EODB was also there, ease of doing business, but that is discontinued now. School education quality index, SEQI. Then agriculture farmer friendly reforms index. Agriculture farmer friendly reforms index means which state has brought more reforms to make it more easier for the farmers. Agriculture farmers friendly index. Farmers friendly reforms. Agriculture farmers friendly reforms index. These are indexes or indices given by NITI Aayog. Above are what? Initiatives. Then which one? Which famous bills they drafted? If you want that also mention. NITI Aayog drafted NMC bill. What is NMC? National Medical Commission to replace Medical Council of India. NITI Aayog drafted NMC bill to replace MCI. NITI Aayog drafted NMC bill to replace MCI. NMC bill to replace MCI. 2. It drafted draft land leasing, or it drafted land leasing policy. It drafted land leasing policy. Land leasing policy. Fine. This is with respect to the bills. Then other things not okay. Fine. Broadly these are the ones. A NITI forum for Northeast is also there. That's not necessary. Okay. Fine. Largely these are the points related to NITI Aayog that you have to keep it in mind. Fine. Okay, that is bodies and bargaining federalism, not important for us, we have already discussed it. Broadly these are the important points that you have to keep it in mind with respect to federalism. Here is so many bodies and schemes also we have discussed. Now let's go back to another famous one, because once we complete this then we can solve few questions. Salient features of constitution. Under that let's not write all those things, directly mention parts. Parts of constitution. Other aspects not important for us, we will not discuss it from prelims perspective. Obviously, you know, originally how many parts? 22 parts, at present 25. That will come to that later. Directly first write the parts. Keep on writing as a list, because UPSC last year also they asked, I mean you don't have to bat all the parts actually. Most important parts also, if you keep it in mind, you could have easily solved it. They asked what? Part 18, which one they asked? Part 20 they asked. So very simple. First one, part 1, what is it? Exactly, union and its territories. Union and its territory. Part 2, you tell. Citizenship. Part 2, citizenship. Part 3, fundamental rights. That's very famous. They obviously, I don't even have to discuss. Part 4, obviously, you know which one? DPSP, that's also a very famous one. Part 4, DPSP. 4 capital A also, you know which one? Fundamental duties. 4A, fundamental duties. We'll write, those are new parts that again we'll write at the end. Fundamental duties. 5, union government. Same logic. If you remember union government, next you can just follow. 5, union government. Yes, that's it. 6, state government. 5, union government. 6, state government. 7 is, if you want, mention it there. Part 7, deleted. If you recall it with respect to part B states, again we'll link back. Part 7, deleted. Which amendment, if you recall again? 7th Amendment, 1956. So just you can link the same. Part 7 deleted by 7th Amendment 1956. Part 8, same, let's just union state, then union territories. Part 8, union territories. Part 5, Part 6, Union and States. Part 7 deleted. Part 8, Union Territories. Then Part 9, Panchayats. 9 was actually originally deleted, later they have re-added it. 9 Panchayats. 9 capital A, just same extension, municipalities. 9 Panchayats. A, municipalities. 9B, cooperative societies. 9B, cooperative societies. 10, scheduled and tribal areas, your 5th schedule, 6th schedule areas, most famously Article 244, 6th schedule. Part 10, scheduled and tribal areas. In simple terms, your 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas. Scheduled and tribal areas. Then part 11, exactly, center-state relations, union-state relations. Part 11, center-state relations. 11, center-state relation. 12, finance, property, contracts related to money. If you recall property, Article 300, capital A, all of those things. Finance, property and contracts. Finance, property and contracts. Then part 13, which one? Interstate trade and commerce, or freedom of trade, commerce and intercourse throughout the territory of India. Simple terms, interstate trade and commerce. Interstate trade and commerce, 13. 14, services. Obviously all these ones, please note it down on place and you have to keep on parroting it. If you do it for a week continuously, every day, once or twice, 2 to 3 times, automatically you will get it, you can easily by heart it. Or you can make your own kind of stories or mnemonics, all those ones you can obviously solve. So 14 is which one? Services. 14A, tribunals. Services means what? Your UPSC, All India Service, Central Service, State PSC. 14A, tribunals. 15, elections. Election Commission of India. Parliament power to make laws on elections. State legislature power to make laws on elections. 15, elections. 16, special provisions for SC, ST, other means your SC, ST reservation in Lok Sabha, State Assembly, Anglo-Indian nomination, now women reservations, 106th Amendment, all of them. Part 16, special provisions for backward classes, or you can say SC, ST backward classes, OBC. 16, 17, official language. 17, official language. Fine. Then 18, what they asked last year, which one? Emergency. 18, emergency. 19, extra, miscellaneous, extra provisions. If you recall interpretation of constitution, all of those things. Miscellaneous. 20, obviously, which one? Amendment. Article 368, amendment of constitution. Amendment of constitution, 20. Then 21, temporary transitional provisions, your 370, 371. 21, temporary transitional provisions. Temporary transitional provisions, 21. 22, title commencement of constitution. Title commencement authoritative text and repeals, repeal of the old acts. Just write title and commencement of constitution. Title and commencement of constitution. Sure. Below clarified. So what is it then? Originally 22 parts. Originally 22 parts. Originally 22 parts. Then below part 7, part 9 deleted by 7th Amendment. Part 7, part 9 deleted by 7th Amendment 1956. Part 7 and part 9 deleted by 7th Amendment 1956. 7th Amendment 1956. Then part 4A, in other words 5 parts they have added. Part 4A, part 14A added by 42nd Amendment 1976. 4A, 14A added by 42nd Amendment 1976. Mini Constitution. 42nd Amendment 1976. 9 and 9A, which one? 9, 73rd, 9A, 74th. Part 9, 73rd Amendment 1992. Part 9A, 74th Amendment 1992. Part 9, 73rd, Part 9A, 74th. Then 9B, 97th Amendment 2011, very famously Cooperative Societies. 9B, Cooperative Societies, that is 97th Amendment 2011. 9B, 97th Amendment 2011. 97th Amendment 2011. 97th Amendment 2011. Right? That is about your parts. Obviously, they have already asked these things. Now, same way, schedules also they have asked multiple times. Kind of favorite topic for UPSC. This is in the recent times. Schedules, because they are asking in parts and schedules purely factual kind of question. Schedules of the Constitution. Again, very simple ones. First schedule. Which one? Exactly. First schedule. Under that, names of states and its jurisdiction. B, names of union territories, jurisdiction. Names of states and their jurisdiction. B, names of UTs and their jurisdiction. In other words, acquired territories are not mentioned here. Names of states and their jurisdiction, names of UTs and their jurisdiction. Fine. Then second schedule, emoluments and allowances of emoluments means salaries and additional allowances, additional benefits, not even allowances. Emoluments and allowances of, emoluments and allowances of, as a list you write, A, President. Emoluments and allowances of A, President. B, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha, Assembly. Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Assembly. Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha and Assembly. Then Chairperson, Deputy Chairperson, Rajya Sabha, Council. Yeah, Governor we left out, you can write that, okay, Governor. Chairperson, Deputy Chairperson, Rajya Sabha, Council. Chairperson, Deputy Chairperson, Rajya Sabha and Council. Where you have written President and add Governor. President and Governor. President of India, Governor of States. Fine. And then Chairperson, Deputy Chairperson, Rajya Sabha and Council. And then Supreme Court, High Court judges. Supreme Court and High Court judges. And then last CAG. Last one CAG. Fine, then third schedule. Votes and affirmations of. Votes or affirmations of. Votes or affirmations of. Again as a list. A, first one. Members contest, or you can say candidates contesting elections to MP or Parliament or State Legislature. First one, candidates contesting elections to Parliament or State Legislature. Candidates contesting elections to the Parliament and State Legislature. B, MPs, MLAs, MLCs. MP of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha both. MPs means members of Parliament and State Legislature. MPs, MLAs, MLCs. C is what then? Union and State Ministers. Union Ministers, State Ministers. Union Ministers, State Ministers. That is Union and State Ministers. Union and State Ministers. Then last two copy. Supreme Court, High Court judges, CAG. Always remember CAG is the only person, no, only in the sense, what do you call this, under bodies what you study, who takes a specific oath. Of course, judges take it, other than judges. Election Commission, NCSC, NCST, nobody takes oath. Only CAG takes oath. We'll discuss anyhow separately on CAG. Then Supreme Court and High Court judges, and last one is what? CAG. Yeah, fine. That is about your votes and affirmation. Then 4. Allocation of Rajya Sabha seats to states and UTs. Allocation of Rajya Sabha seats. Allocation of Rajya Sabha seats to the states and UTs. Rajya Sabha seats to the states and UTs. Then 5th schedule. Obviously, what we have to discuss it. I mean, mention it at least. Yeah, 5th schedule. Scheduled areas of 10 states. They call it as scheduled areas. Scheduled areas of 10 states. Yeah, as a list you mentioned. First, entire central India, whatever you have, just mention it. Which one? Entire central India, whatever you have. Yeah, mention it. MP plus Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh plus Gujarat plus Rajasthan. Just write in keywords, that's it. Gujarat plus Rajasthan plus another 5. Which one? Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra, Telangana. Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, and then plus 2. Andhra, Telangana. Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan. Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra, Telangana. Plus the only exception, HP, Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh. Fine. Again, we'll discuss 5th schedule, 6th schedule in detail. Differences are there. The concept of if you have a tribes advisory council, who will determine the boundaries, all of those things, and the executive power of the states, all of them, that we'll discuss. That's a separate, when we discuss union territories, scheduled areas, tribal areas, separately again we'll discuss. Then 6th schedule, tribal areas of northeast. 6th schedule. 6th schedule, tribal areas of northeast. Tribal areas of northeast. Obviously, which one then? Exactly. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. And now overall, which states are demanding? Arunachal is demanding, Ladakh is demanding it. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. 4. And who is demanding it? If you want, mention that. Again, we'll discuss in detail. Recently, Arunachal and Ladakh is demanding it. Arunachal may get, because schedule 6 schedule is only for whom actually? Yeah, so it's northeast states. Ladakh we are still not sure, but they are demanding it. Arunachal and Ladakh are demanding it. Arunachal and Ladakh are demanding it. Right? Yeah, what is the specific criteria? For that matter, you mention Constitution does not mention any specific criteria for a state to be included in 5th or 6th schedule. Constitution does not mention any specific criteria. On what basis did you include Assam and why did not you include Arunachal? There is no reason. Does not mention any specific criteria for inclusion of a state in 5th or 6th schedule. For inclusion of a state in 5th or 6th schedule. Inclusion of a state in 5th or 6th schedule. So that means ultimate decision who will take then? Ultimate decision is by Parliament. Same. Amendment of Constitution under 368. Ultimate decision is by Parliament. Article 368, special majority. Ultimate decision is by Parliament under 368, special majority. Yeah, now then what are the differences between 5th and 6th schedule? That is a separate topic. Autonomous, if you recall your 6th schedule, the concept of autonomous district council, autonomous regional council, all of those we have to discuss in detail. And then 7th. The 7th is obvious, very, very famous one. 7th schedule means what? Article 246. Division of legislative power between center and states. Which obviously you know, I don't even have to tell. Article 246 related, division of legislative powers or distribution of legislative powers between center and states. Distribution of the legislative powers between center and states. Obviously, we all know how many lists you have. 3 lists you have, all of those things. But all those basics, you know, union list, who can make laws? Only parliament can make laws. State list, only state legislature can make laws. Concurrent list, both can make laws. In case of any overlap, which law will prevail? Center's law will prevail. But residuary list, 2 points you have, please mention that. Residuary subjects. First point, who will get the lawmaking power? Given to the center, given to parliament. Residuary subjects, only parliament can make laws. Residuary subjects, only parliament can make laws. Residuary subjects, only parliament can make laws. And so, yeah, if you want that in bracket, again you write, inspired by whom? Borrowed from Canada. Because if you recall, in US, residuary powers is given to whom? States. Borrowed, inspired from Canada. Again, we'll write it anyhow, the next topic itself. 2 is what? These are unallocated subjects not mentioned in 7th schedule. These are unallocated subjects. Unallocated subjects not mentioned in 7th schedule. Unallocated subjects not mentioned in 7th schedule. So you don't find it mentioned in the constitution. Not mentioned. So if you want example, what are they? Of course, again, there is no clarity. Just to mention example, disasters, disaster management, social media, artificial intelligence, etc. Disaster management, artificial intelligence, social media, etc. So these are your 7. Then 8th, the very famous one, which is what? Languages recognized by the constitution. It's not official languages. 8th schedule, languages recognized by constitution. Languages recognized by the constitution. And short, originally how many? Originally 14, present 22. Originally 14, at present 22. Originally 14, at present 22. Yeah, which is clarify there, just English is not mentioned. English is not there because this is only which kind of language? These are only Indian languages, that's why English is not there. English is not there, but what is there? Sanskrit is there. Sanskrit is mentioned. Right? Then, what are those 8 newly added languages? Mention that. Newly added languages are newly added languages are A. Sindhi, 2. Manipuri, Konkani, Nepali. 1 plus 3 plus 4. Manipuri, Konkani, Nepali. Then which one? Bodo, Maithili, Dogri, Santali. Bodo, Maithili, Dogri, Santali. Bodo, Maithili, Dogri, Santali. Understood? Yeah, recall that which one, which amendment? I just forgot. Mention those amendments, please. Where you have written Sindhi. Mention that. Yeah, I think normally we mentioning it. 21st Amendment 1967. Sindhi 21st Amendment 1967. 1967. Then 3, which one? Manipuri, Nepali, and then Konkani. 71st Amendment 1991. 1992, sorry, 1992. 92-2003. 71st Amendment 1992. Then those 4 languages. 91st Amendment 2003. 92nd, sorry. 92nd Amendment 2003. Then 96th. 92nd Amendment 2003. Which one? Bodo, Maithili, Santali, Dongri. 92nd Amendment 2003. Then, just to mention, clarify there, Oriya was renamed Odia. O-R-I-A. Oriya renamed Odia by 96th Amendment 2011. O-R-I-A renamed O-D-I-A. O-D-I-A, Odia, by 2003, 96th Amendment 2011. That is 92nd Amendment 2003. Because last year, 2024, this was one of your question. So there, I think which Nepali was added by which something that will go to the PVQ, you will get an idea. Clear? Again saying, what is the point? In the recent times, which demands are they? Tulu they are demanding, Ladakhi they are demanding. Again, same logic, please mention. Recently, Tulu and Ladakhi are demanding to be included in 8th schedule. Tulu, Ladakhi are demanding to be included in 8th schedule. Demanding to be included in 8th schedule. Again, same logic. What is it? No specific criteria. Like how you wrote for 5th schedule, 6th schedule, same logic. Means on what basis did you include Konkani, why not Tulu? There is no basis. No specific criteria in constitution. Again, ultimate decision who then? Parliament, same. 368, special majority. No specific criteria in the constitution. Ultimate decision by Parliament. 368, special majority. Ultimate decision is by Parliament under 368, special majority. By Parliament under 368, special majority. Fine, that is your 8th schedule. I'm sure. Now related to that is which concept? Obviously, normally in class also we keep doing. So language is related, everything you finish out of at once. Under that which concept? Official languages, part 17. Official languages. Not related to schedule here. Official languages. Obviously very basic. Government of India, what is it? For Government of India, Hindi along with English. Official languages. Under that, for Government of India, Hindi along with English. Hindi along with English. I'm sure. English for how many years? Yeah, in bracket you write for English for 15 years, that is 1965. This is according to the original constitution. For 15 years, 15 till 1965. 15 years till 1965. Fine. Then next one below that, Official Languages Act 1963, OLA. Official Languages Act 1963, English extended along with Hindi. So as of today, obviously what is it then? Both. Official Languages Act 1963, English extended along with Hindi. English extended along with Hindi. So this is for Government of India. Same concept below for whom? For state governments it is decided by state legislature. Obviously automatically for most of state it is the regional languages. For state governments decided by state legislature. For state governments decided by state legislature. For local government there is no separate concept. Whatever is there for states that will apply to local governments also. For state governments decided by state legislature. See, this is concept of which one? Official languages. National language, obviously concept, you know, there is no concept of national language. Then is what then? Classical language. Last year also it was in use. They have already asked twice the classical language concept. Probably they will discuss it again in your art and culture. But from a polity perspective, classical language. First point is what? Not mentioned in constitution. So this is not a constitutional topic. Classical languages not mentioned in constitution. 2. Given by Ministry of Art and Culture, MAC. Given by Ministry of Art and Culture. Of course, Union Ministry of Art and Culture. Given by Ministry of Art and Culture. under that criteria. Obviously, simple logic. What are classical language means? Very old, that's it. Classical language for that criteria. Simple criteria obviously A is what? Old languages, ancient languages, old languages, old languages. B, literature of minimum 1000 years old, 1000 to 1500 years. Literature of minimum 1000 years old. Literature of minimum 1000 years old. Then sizable population should be speaking it. Means sizable language speaking population. Sizable population should be speaking. But more important is what? Ancient aspect. And of course, which one? Another one, their own script. Their own script. Like Konkani and Tulu, they don't have their own script. So you can't give so easily a classical language status. Their own script. Fine. And then obviously which one? Which was given first? Tamil was the first language. Tamil was the first language, followed by Tamil was first, followed by Sanskrit. Tamil was first, followed by Sanskrit. Then as a list you can write, they will not ask you all of them, followed by Sanskrit. Then who? Kannada plus Telugu plus Malayalam together. Kannada plus Telugu plus Malayalam. So 1 plus 1 plus 3. Kannada plus Telugu plus Malayalam. Then later they give it to whom? Odia. Word plus Odia. Odia separately, individually they gave. Now recently again they gave it to 5. Which one? Exactly. Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Prakrit, Pali. Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Pali, Prakrit. So totally 6 plus 5, 11 languages. Marathi plus Bengali plus Assamese plus Pali plus Prakrit. So totally 6 plus 5, 11 languages are given classical language status. Now what is the advantage? What is simple advantage? Government of India will give additional money for research. Advantage. Government of India will provide. Government of India will provide additional finances for further research. Government of India will provide additional finances for further research. Additional finances for further research. Additional finances for further research. Fine, of course other things are there, but that is a major one. They'll set up research ventures, everything, not necessary. Okay, then next one is what? Okay, judiciary related languages are also there. Okay, if you want here itself, we can write that also. Languages of judiciary. Actually, that's a judiciary topic. Languages of judiciary. Official language of judiciary. Simple as an equations you write below first. Supreme Court, what is it always? Obviously English, only English. Any other things are just translations. Supreme Court only English. Same, High Court only English. Supreme Court only English. B, High Court only English. But High Court there is an exception mentioned that. However, Governor of a state can request. However, Governor of a state can request President to add, not replace English, add. Governor can request President to add another language also. To add another language as official language. Governor can request President to add another language. Of course, if you recall which one? In MP, UP, Rajasthan and Bihar, Hindi is added along with English. Tamil Nadu is requesting it, it is still not done. Governor can request President to add another language. In UP, Bihar, MP and Rajasthan, Hindi is added. UP, Bihar, MP, Rajasthan, Hindi is added. UP, Bihar, MP, Rajasthan, Hindi is added. But that is language. Of course, subordinate codes I don't even have to tell, decided by state legislature. For subordinate codes. And obviously in most of the states, what is it? Regional languages. For subordinate codes decided by state legislature, most of the states it is regional language. For subordinate courts, it is decided by state legislature. Subordinate courts decided by state legislature. Most of the states it is regional language. In most states it is regional language. Which one? Both. Judgments also you can, they'll give it to it. Yeah, because what, you have read something else? Okay, that means only for the arguments. Judgments will have to be in English, Anta. Okay, maybe you have to cross verify that, so I will cross verify and tell, but as far as I recall, when you declare it, it is for both. As far as I know, we'll see, we can cross verify that. Okay, fine. Then next one, just put a small subheading there, new schedules. New schedules. Of course, which one? 9th schedule. Yeah, exactly. That is your subordinate courts, trial courts. Subordinate courts are your trial courts. 9th schedule. Obviously, which one? Which amendment? First Amendment 1951. 9th schedule, First Amendment 1951. Obviously, what is it? Those acts of Parliament and state legislature which are exempted from judicial review. Those acts of Parliament and state legislature. Those acts of Parliament and state legislature which are exempted from judicial review. Which are exempted from judicial review. Exempted from judicial review. Assured. Obviously, normally we do it later, but he can here itself we can add it. Which one? Article 31 capital B. Whenever you say 9th schedule, it's related to which article? 31 capital B. Assured. First Amendment 1951. Assured. And acts of whom? It can be Parliament acts also, state acts also. Of course, who can add it then? Mention that. Acts added to 9th schedule by whom? By Parliament, same, 368 special majority. It can be a state act, state can pass an act, but they can't add it to 9th schedule, right? That who has to add it again? Parliament only has to add it. An act is added to 9th schedule by Parliament, 368 special majority. So even if it is state act, only Parliament can add it. IR Kohlo case. IR Kohlo case. IR Kohlo versus State of Tamil Nadu, 2007. IR Kohlo case. Judicial review is basic structure. Judicial review is basic structure. Judicial review is basic structure. That's what is the point. Even if an act is added to 9th schedule, it is still subjected to judicial review. Judicial review is basic structure. Hence, even if an act is added to 9th schedule, hence, even if an act is added to the 9th schedule, even if an act is added to the 9th schedule, it is subjected to judicial review. Even if an act is added to the 9th schedule, it is subjected to, it can be subjected to judicial review. Then, what did they introduce? Dual test introduced. Dual test introduced. What is it? A. Does the act violate a fundamental right? Dual test, two condition. Does the act violate a fundamental right? Does the act violate a fundamental right? B. Is that fundamental right a basic structure? Does the act violate a fundamental right? B. Is that fundamental right part of basic structure? Is that fundamental right part of basic structure? Now what if yes, unconstitutional. If yes, act is unconstitutional. If yes, then the act is unconstitutional. Then the act is unconstitutional. And that is your 9 schedule, very famous ones. Now they are not recently, in the recent times they are not adding it, because that statement they have already asked. Is the act mentioned in a 9 schedule now completely protected from judicial review? Answer is what? No, it's not completely protected. Judicial review will apply. The statements they have already asked. 1 year I think they asked, 9 schedule was added during the prime ministership of, obviously you are writing 1951, which PM? Nehru. That 1 year they asked. I think another year they asked, it was added by which amendment? Simple again fact, first amendment 1951. I think another year they asked that if an act is added to 9 schedule, judicial review will apply. Answer is what? Yes, it will apply. It's not like 100% protection is not there today. So 3 statements they have already asked. Then 10 schedule, very famous one. Details we can't discuss it here, we will discuss it again separately because that needs some other basics related or topics related to Council of Ministers. 10 schedule, very famously which one? ADL, anti-defection law. Which amendment you tell? 52nd amendment 1985. Anti-defection law, 52nd amendment 1985. 52nd amendment 1985. 52nd amendment 1985. Then 11th schedule, obviously Chan, panchayats, that amendment everything you know. 12th schedule you know, please write that. 11th schedule, 12th schedule, panchayats, municipalities. Panchayats, municipalities. Yeah, these two matters a lot, especially because they have asked lots of questions from here. The next one actually doesn't matter much, only for your information like which one, from where, which country did we borrow what. As far as I recall, not a single question as, just as a list you mentioned. Please put the heading. Borrowings from various countries, because they may ask it just as a statement. Pure facts. Borrowings from various countries. After this, we will try to solve few questions then. Borrowings from various countries. Fine, of course, yeah, 1935 Act. 1935 Act. As a list you write, yeah, Federation. 1935 Act. First one, Federation. If you recall, All India Federation concept. B, Integrated Judiciary. C, Public Service Commission. Federation, Integrated Judiciary, Public Service Commission, 7th schedule, Public Service Commission, 7th schedule, appointment of governor by, okay, that is Canadian, 7th schedule, emergency provisions, 7th schedule, emergency provisions. Emergency provisions. Fine, that is your 1935. Then British. Of course, very simple ones. First is famously Chan, parliamentary system. British parliamentary system. Rule of law. British parliamentary system, rule of law. 3. Writ, Article 32. Writs. 4. Privileges. Article 105, writs, then parliamentary privileges, then single citizenship, even cabinet concept, but that's not necessary, single citizenship. Then US very famously, first most important is what? Fundamental rights. US fundamental rights, independence of judiciary, fundamental rights, independence of judiciary, judicial review, fundamental rights, independence of judiciary, judicial review, office of vice president, impeachment of president, removal of Supreme Court, High Court judges, impeachment of president, Removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges. Removal of Supreme Court, High Court judges. Then Canada. Strong center. Strong center. Residuary powers to center. Strong center. Residuary powers to center. Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court 143. Recently again in news, Tamil Nadu issue. Recently Supreme Court gave a judgment also. Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court 143. Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court 143. Fine, even union of state concept also. If you want to mention that also. Appointment of governor by states, did you mention that by center? Appointment of governor by center. Appointment of governor by center. Then union of states concept. Appointment of governor by center. Union of states concept. Union of states concept. That is Canada. Then Ireland. Of course, you know the very famous which one? DPSP. DPSP. Then election of presidents. Election of president. Then nomination of Rajya Sabha MPs. Election of the president. Nomination of Rajya Sabha MPs. Nomination of the Rajya Sabha MPs. Fine, then which one? France. France is very famous, obviously everybody knows which one? Republic. Republic. Then which one? Liberty, equality, fraternity. Republic and then equality, liberty, fraternity. Equality, liberty, fraternity. Then Germany. This was Weimar Germany. Suspension of fundamental rights during emergency 358, 359. Suspension of fundamental rights during emergency 358, 359. Suspension of fundamental rights during emergency 358, 359. 358, 359. Then former USSR. Fundamental duties, justice. Former USSR. Fundamental duties, justice. Fundamental duties, justice. Then South Africa. Amendment of Constitution. Amendment of Constitution. And then which one? Election of Rajya Sabha MPs. Amendment of Constitution. Election of Rajya Sabha MPs. Election of Rajya Sabha MPs. Then Australia. Australia joint sitting 108. Australia joint sitting article 108. Joint sitting article 108. Then freedom of trade and commerce. Freedom of trade and commerce throughout the country. Joint sitting, freedom of trade and commerce. Few provisions of concurrent list or 7th schedule. Few provisions of concurrent list. Few provisions of concurrent list. Fine, then Japan, procedure established by law. Originally that is from Britain actually. Japan, procedure established by law. Procedure established by law. Okay, fine. So and then actually, okay, Priyama schedule. Let's try to solve few questions now. File though. ನಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳ್ಸೋದಾ ರಾಜೇಶ್ ಎಲ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾಂ ಓಕೆ ಎರೇಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಈಗ ಓಕೆ
ಇದು ಪೆನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಇದು ಇಂಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಕ್ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಪೆನ್.
Okay, preamble we have still not done, so we'll first just discuss only about yeah, very simple ones. Obviously, most of it you can easily solve. Anti-defection law, obviously, which one? Earlier questions used to be a little more direct. Year by year they are making it. Provisions in 5th schedule and 6th schedule of course are made in order to obviously for whose benefit? To protect the interests of scheduled tribes. Again very easy. Then 2018, a little whatever we just now discussed. Correct, because just now we told, just 5 minutes before we discussed, any act can be added to 9th schedule only by Parliament 368 special majority. If they can they can make it a little more technical and saying Parliament can place only their laws in the 9th schedule. Then answer is what? No, they can also add whose acts? State acts also can be added. And which judgment? The second statement, which judgment you have to link? IR case, judicial review will apply. Okay, fine. Relatively easy, all of those ones. Then transfer of tribal land. The moment you get tribal land, obviously you have to include only 2 schedules, 5th and 6th. Actually, if 6th had given, it would have led to confusions because both deal with it. That's why I don't have to even tell what is answer. 5th schedule. Then again look at it. 9th schedule introduced during the prime ministership of, as I told you, 3 questions actually. One is who was the PM, which amendment, and then whatever we saw above. Then again look at it, 5th schedule, 6th schedule, very favorite topic for UPSC. In detail also is there, that we'll discuss 5th schedule, 6th schedule differences. Which one? A only, because other things we did not discuss. So multiple times I have told fifth schedule, sixth schedule means what? Outsiders entering will become difficult, settling there becomes difficult, business becomes difficult, property buying becomes difficult, religious activities become, that is the core ones. Rest all the second one statement what they have given, this would create a local self-governing body that is related to, if you recall, which is the act? PISA, Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act, that's different, that we'll discuss separately, that is related to that. This would convert that area into union territory, it's nowhere related, union territory or not is related to which one? Article 3, it has got nothing to do with this. And then the state having such areas would be declared a special category state. Just now we discussed, in the morning, special category states is what? Nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Then how is it related to fifth schedule? So at the core only related to tribes. Then 2024 question, just now we discussed again, 1992, three languages, try to recall, which one? Manipuri, Konkani, Nepali. So look at the answer. That's it. Which amends the 8th schedule to include which of the following languages. Then what is the other one? 92nd amendment 2003 added which language? Bodo, Maithili, Dongri, Santali. Bodo where? Assam, Maithili, Bihar, Santali obviously you know where? Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha also obviously, Draupadi Murmu ma'am's the mother tongue, and then Dogri is where? Parts of Jammu Kashmir, parts of Himachal Pradesh and all of those, that is Dogri. So obviously this is your 8th schedule. Yeah, so that means answer is easy. Yeah, even this we have mentioned, please go through it. 2024 question. Just now we have mentioned all of them. Obviously, what is it? All of them are correct. Powers of municipalities are given in 9A, emergency 18, and then amendment 20. Actually, there was a little confusion. I have forgotten actually the official key. The little confusion was related to this term. Which one? So, because the word was a little confusing, saying because the powers are actually, if you look at the part 9A, it says that the specific powers and functions of municipalities will be decided by the state legislature. But they have taken it as, I think, broader one. So answer is you have to take it as all, or maybe sometime okay, fine. I think it's all. Then 2025. Okay, this again they have gone into a little detailed one, so that we have to discuss when we discuss the details of your 5th and 6th schedule. Executive power, all of those things we did not discuss, as I told. So if in case an area is put under 5th schedule, will the state government have control on it or not? All those are little details, so that we are still not going to it, like the autonomous district council, regional council, that we can come back. Then I consider the following statement. Okay, this one again very simple one, just go through it. Consider the following statements under constitution. List 1, union list in the 7th schedule. Okay, they are talking about for which of the following amendment. Actually, it's not related to this, but if in case you can recall, please go through it. Union list, 7th schedule, extent of executive power of state, conditions of governor's office. For a constitutional amendment with respect to the above, ratification by legislatures of not less than 1/2 is required before the bill is presented to the president. Okay, that means which among the following requires president's assent? Ratification of less than 50% of states. Which one? 1 and 2 actually, if you recall. Again, that's actually related to your Article 3 state amendment of constitution. So any changes to 7th schedule, that is union or state or concurrent, legislative powers of center and states, executive powers of center and state. So yes, president's election, Supreme Court, High Court judges provisions, amendment of 3 state itself, GST related provisions, those are your ratification. So actually we have not done it in detail as of now, but just to keep it in mind, it is your union list, extent of executive power, not only executive, extent of legislative power also, and then which one? Conditions of governor's office is nowhere related here. Directly who will control? Government of India will control. So no need of any kind of ratification of states. So 1 and 2, 3 you need to remove. That's it. Okay, then this is fundamental rights. You leave that. We'll search for which one, this your constitutional government and all those ones. Where is the search option here? As we discussed multiple times, see, constitutional government by definition is, that's it, so direct one. Same below 2020, that is 2014. Constitutional government is one in which a little kind of a application oriented they have made. Constitutional government is one in which, please go through the statement, use simple common sense, that's it. We have already discussed it, a little application part. Remember, constitutional government is limited government. That means your only intention is to put restrictions on whom? On the powers of the state. That means what? Places effective restrictions on the authority of state in the interest of individual liberty. Yeah, better what you do, because UPSC has the tendency to repeat the statements and questions also. Morning where you written constitutional government, please go and add the second statement, please copy that. You could have easily thought but because in detail we have discussed it. Just for your just copy paste the statement. Second statement, please copy. On the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. Fine? Yeah, that means I don't have to tell the answer. There was actually another question on constitutional government. Yeah, again look at it. Constitutional government means, again same, 2021. Look at it, 2020 there is a statement question, 2021 also they have asked it. Just search for the term. Yeah, that's it, the same answer. Yeah, go through this next statement also, federalism related, 2021 again. As I told, what is the core definition of federalism always? Division of powers. So division of power, deliberately what they have done, they have skipped that and you forget that. So division of power is not there. Recall the what you call essential features, automatically you will again say. So obviously what has to be there? What is the other core feature that you find here? Independent judiciary, if you recall, because there is no other provision which is a common, what you said, essential feature of federalism. Understood? So that is the one. Then yeah, state again, look at it. So what is the keyword we keep mentioning in the morning for state? Territory, population, government, sovereignty. What do you mean by sovereign? Simple definition of sovereignty, free from any kind of external control. Yeah, deliberate, just search for those terms, automatically you will find the answer. Yeah, even if you go through the other ones, look at it deliberately how they get the what is the what do you call this trick that they have played. More or less, if you read the same statement in what do you call this fastly, if you read, you will start feeling like what? Everything is same only. So there is no major difference. So you just, when you go through it, the keyword what you have to do is what? Whatever that you found out, please encircle it. Because some students we have seen that kind of a practice, they have that what? You don't encircle or you don't what you call this kind of mark or something, you do that. That's a risky thing that you are doing, because what will happen, if in case you are so used to it, it's a different issue, and if it's working for you, in general, please whatever you read, underline the keywords, especially in prelims, encircle it, because if you don't encircle it, what will happen, you can't identify what are the keywords, and deliberately what they do, they increase the length of the question, and when they increase so much of length, let's say quickly you are reading, and then you come to the sixth statement, and then now your first statement is also lengthy, again you have to go back and read it. And it's one every 5 seconds, 10 seconds will matter a lot. Let's say in the first round you did not get the answer, and so you have not encircled it, you did not get the answer. Then you went back, and then 1 hour later you came back now. What will you read the question again? It's again a time waste. And so, sir, my question paper has to be very neat. That UPSC is not asking you to maintain all of that. It matters a lot. Please encircle it, because some students, almost 3-4 questions that skipped it like this. Every year they keep doing it, because their own practices. If in case you still have that, please encircle things. Matters a lot, because time is a very crucial issue now. Earlier time was not a huge challenge. Almost 1.5 to 1 hour 45 minutes, more or less everybody used to complete it. But in the last 3-4 years, if you have seen, completing paper itself is a challenge. So if you take lot of time to read and to encircle all of those things, so by the time you come back to second round, you will be left out with 10-15 minutes. And obviously what will happen in that case, you will get into the pressure, and in the pressure mode, and if the number of questions are, if you have still attended only 60, 65 or something like that in the first round, obviously automatically what is the tendency? Let's attempt more, but you have still not thought about it, you are still not sure. Under pressure you will just mark some 10-15 questions. And normally what happens, whatever questions that you mark under pressure, most of it will go wrong. Especially the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes under pressure, if you do, means you have still not decided your answer. You are still in dilemma, okay, is it B or C, is it C or D, but you just took a chance. Most of them will go wrong. And so that's why the basic rule is what? If you are not able to come to a particular answer in 1 hour 55 minutes, what is the simple common sense you have to apply? That means I am not sure about it, let's leave it. If you use the logic that okay, I'll come to the answer in the last 5 minutes, what you have not done in 1 hour 55 minutes, you are taking a huge risk. If you are already in the safe margin, and if you are aiming for forest service cutoff, that's a different issue. Or else, so considering the way game is now, each question matters a lot. So please, only educated guesses. Don't go for just like that any guesses you take, it's not so easy. Yes, some people attempt in 95 to 100 questions also some people attempt. But for that what you should have done? You should have practiced a lot. You should have that kind of what? Personality to take guesses, and then your attitude should be what? I'll take 10 guesses. Even if 5 goes right, 5 goes wrong, it's fine. So 10 marks I'll get, 5 let them go wrong. And then you calculate it, at least some whatever 6 or 7 you will get positive. Fair enough. Let me get 4 correct, let 6 go wrong, it's still fine. But that attitude should be, you should have inculcated it. You don't inculcate that attitude in a fear mindset, in a dilemma, and then you kept on attempting the question, automatically it will go wrong. Instincts will not go right. So that's why don't go and test something or use some new strategies in the exam hall. Practice it multiple times. By the end of April, your large amount of strategy should be fixed. Means what? How many rounds will I do? When will I mark? Will I mark after every page? Some students do it what? After every question, whatever they get it right, they'll mark. Some people what they do? They just go through the entire ones. At the end they'll sit and then 5 minutes they'll take and then they'll mark. So anything will work, anything will not work. It depends only on what? It depends on you should have practiced it and made the strategy by yourself. Don't just copy paste someone else's strategy. So if someone comes and tell, no, mark it at the end, don't change your complete strategy and go mark it at the end. What is working for you will work for you. And that you will only get once you practice. And if someone comes and say, I will only attempt 70 to 75, it has worked for me, doesn't mean you should attempt the same. You should practice it. Yours may be in the 80s range or yours may be in 90s range. It depends only on your personality. Only with lots of practice only you will get to know that. In the exam hall, of course, prelims is known for what? Huge amount of surprises. 10 to 20% of your strategy should change. Means what? In your mind you might have had like 1.5 hours I will do first round, half an hour I will do second round. Maybe in exam hall it might be what? 1 hour 40 minutes it might take. Assured. So that you have to be ready because it's a surprise element. You can't, exact strategy it's not so easy to implement there because There will be lots of surprises elements. All of a sudden they'll increase the length too much. In options they treat, in polity they still not played it, but if you look at which one, especially other subjects, S&T and all of them, what they do in environment, everything, only one pair correct, two pair correct, only one statement correct, two statements correct, a little tricky. Only if you have practice you will get to know that. Understood? Yeah, so okay, whatever. So answer is what? Obviously A is the answer. Simple keyword. What is the word you have to search for? Yeah, we keep telling free of external control. See, deliberately that's why they did not use the term sovereign, because you will search for the term sovereign and you will tick it. That's why they use the term independent of external control. Sure, that's it. Rest all will remain the same. Okay, this will leave it. Yeah, look at morning we discussed that which one, committed judiciary concept, 2021 question. Very simple. Which of the following is the best safeguard of liberty in a liberal democracy? Separation of power. First, normally students got confused that year only between A and D. Assured. Of course, second one you can easily have, okay, centralization of power or it's a kind of concentration of power. Obviously no. Elected government is no way safeguarded. They may not, that's different issue. Yes, B and C is not even related. Normally student get confused between which? A and D. A they get confused only because what? Committed judiciary, it is easy to interpret it as committed to constitution. It is not committed to constitution. What is it? Committed, or in other words favorable or biased towards the government in power. Obviously if you are in favor of government in power, how are you the best safeguard for liberty? Independent judiciary if they are given, yes, that is more important. Independent of judiciary, separation of power would have become confused. That's why in place of independent they have mentioned it as committed. In simple terms, committed judiciary is the opposite of independent judiciary. Unsure? Yeah, so you committed bureaucracy also I have told, that was also compromised. Yeah, so you can go through this also. That we have still not discussed the concept of parliamentary sovereignty. Maybe we will discuss, I will clarify here itself. Answer is what? So okay, first look at it, maybe you have a little confused, we have still not discussed in detail, that's actually parliament topic, but we can sum up. As regards the legislation, British Parliament is supreme or sovereign. Answer is what? First point. Yes, again if in case you recall three basic principles we tell. UK follows parliamentary sovereignty, India follows constitutional supremacy, US follows judicial supremacy. So parliamentary sovereignty means, of course, yes, British Parliament is supreme or sovereign, clear. In India, the power of the Parliament to legislate is limited. Answer is what? Yes, limited power of Parliament itself is basic structure. I sum up, okay, whatever all the, okay, for clarity, let's actually it's a Parliament topic, but still it's okay, we'll write it. Please continue. Or where you have written parliamentary system, if you have some space there, you write there, or else it's your wish, wherever you want you can add it. It may repeat again in your parliament chapter, but let's sum up once for all. Only because we saw the question. The first point, whatever three principles I told, first write that. UK, parliamentary sovereignty. India, constitutional supremacy. UK, parliamentary sovereignty. India, constitutional supremacy. US, judicial supremacy. US, judicial supremacy. Parliamentary sovereignty, constitutional supremacy, judicial supremacy. Now, what do you mean by British parliamentary sovereignty? Clarify that. It is famously said, you don't have to write that, directly read the statement. No limits on, for Britain you are writing, no limits on powers of British Parliament. That's a famous statement. British Parliament can do anything and everything except make a man a woman and a woman a man. Exactly same statement. No limits on powers of British Parliament. 1. No limits on the powers of British Parliament. 2. No difference between amending the constitution or passing an act. What is the reason? because they don't have written constitution itself. No difference between legislative power and constitutional power. In other words, no difference between amending the constitution and passing an act. And passing an act. 3. No judicial review. So in other words, in UK, what the judiciary cannot do then? Any act passed by the British Parliament cannot be declared as unconstitutional by British judiciary for simple reason they don't even have written constitution. Then how will you declare something as unconstitutional? No judicial review in UK. No judicial review in UK. Opposite, India is what? Limited power of India, limited power of Parliament itself is basic structure. This was your actually mains question 2024. Difference between the British parliamentary powers and Indian parliamentary powers. Limited power of Parliament, basic structure in India. Limited power of Parliament is basic structure in India. Answered. Then what is it? Written constitution, federalism, independent judiciary, fundamental rights also limits its power. Written constitution, federalism, independent judiciary, federalism, independent judiciary, fundamental rights, rule of law also limits its powers. Rule of law also limits its powers. Also limits its powers. Fine. Again clarify, in India, both Supreme Court and High Court can declare. In India, both, that's what is integrated judiciary concept if you recall. Both Supreme Court and High Court can declare Parliament law as unconstitutional. Of course, but ultimate decision is always by whom? Supreme Court itself. In India, both Supreme Court and High Court can declare Parliament's law as unconstitutional. Parliament's law as unconstitutional. And of course, what? Constitutionality always has to be tested by which bench? Constitutional bench itself. What do you mean by constitutional bench? Minimum 5 judges. Yeah, now you look at the statement and tell me the answer. Both are correct because first one is what? British Parliament is supreme or sovereign. Yes. In India, power of the Parliament to legislate is limited. Yes, because just now you wrote limited power of Parliament itself is basic structure. Matters related to constitutionality refer to Constitution bench by Supreme Court. Of course, yes, because is it constitutional or unconstitutional should be declared by Constitutional bench only. Minimum 5 judges. That benches will discuss separately in judiciary. That's your Constitutional bench. Okay, this is factual ones. These are all other aspects. Parliamentary system questions, just look at this one. 20, I forgot the year, maybe 24 I think this is, or 23. They have not put the year. Burning also I told you the logic. Purpose, intention of constitution. Limits, again wherever you find limit, that's the answer. Fine. Okay, again scheduled areas is a favorite topic for UPSC, 5th schedule and 6th schedule. We will discuss that in detail. Reservations, okay, articles, that is your fundamental rights. Home guards again related to national flag code, that doesn't get repeated, don't worry. Constitution, again a simple one. Whatever morning the Constitution Assembly, making of Constitution topic. Fine. So in other words, that means what is the answer? That's it. Delimitation Commission will discuss in detail again. Okay, this kind of questions also they are asking. So I'll tell you that. So it's related to kind of post-independence India. Maybe this you can try. Simple logic you apply. You don't have to question. Again, I told you this is kind of common sense. You don't have to ask yourself, okay, I have not studied this, I have not read it, doesn't matter. Simple common, interstate trade and commerce. Can you make it as a state subject? Because if you make it a state subject, obviously every state will favor whom? Themselves. How will you make it a state subject? Automatically it has to be what? Union subject only. Interstate migration also, if you allow it to state, what will the states tell? Obviously, yes, same logics. Same logic you apply. Just now I told you the logic. Interstate quarantine. What is quarantine means? Your COVID time. Quarantine means what? Putting people, all those ones. Again, it has to be what then? Yes, so that means answer is what? See, corporation tax, if you recall, is again what? Union subject. Corporate tax is a union tax. The tax that the companies have to pay based on their profit. So, interstate issues automatically has to be what? Union list, including your interstate water disputes also, interstate border disputes also. Automatically union subject. Just commonsensical aspect, if you had applied, answer would have been there. Okay, even this. Yeah, that very simple one. This we have not done, but I think you can handle that. That we'll discuss separately. This again, interstate councils, zonal councils, parliamentary system concept. Okay, this is your 106th amendment. Okay, they made this is very broad. Maybe few provisions are related to actually PM and Council of Ministers chapter, but you should be able to go through it. Please tell me the answer. Which of the following principles are implied institutionally? Means which of the following are the features of parliamentary system? This kind of statements are more easy actually. You go through the third statement, cabinet is headed by head of the state. Who is the head of the cabinet? PM. What is PM? Head of the government. You remove third statement, answer is there. Obviously, ministers enjoy office, hold the office till they enjoy the in other words, it's referring to what indirectly? No confidence motion. And of course, members of cabinet, in other words, dual membership. Okay, that's your parliament again. Yeah, then again look at it. Very simple, multiple times I keep telling. There is a parliamentary system of government in India because. Clear? Okay. Again look at it. Same question, repeat, different way. The main advantage of parliamentary form of government is that. Fine? Yeah, so same question, different way of asking. Committees you leave it. Again another one, same question. Wherever you find responsible, that's it. Answer is what? B. Because look at it, government is, of course, yes, even here they use a broader statement because when those search for, sir, Lok Sabha is not there. If you look at all the statements there, where collective responsibility is the keyword. Where do you find responsibility here? Yeah, first keyword, first check is where do you find the term responsibility? Second check is what? Let's say in two statements they have used responsibility. Then what is the check? Where have they mentioned Lok Sabha? Here the only statement they have mentioned responsibility is where? Automatically is the answer. Fine? Yeah, so look at it, different way of asking. Out of the following statements, choose the one that brings out the principle underlying cabinet form. What is called as parliamentary system? Other name is what? Cabinet system. Same question again, repeated. Where is the word you find? automatically that is the answer. See how many times they have repeated constitutional government, how many times they have repeated parliamentary system. Parliamentary system is more favorite for UPSC. Understood? Collective responsibility, that's a just search for the word. Automatically your answer will be there. If in case 2-3 statements they have given collective responsibility, then what is the next check? Where have they mentioned Lok Sabha? That is the answer. Okay, this one more simple. Go through it just once. What is the role of bureaucracy? Obviously, what is the role of bureaucracy? Implementation. Just search for the words wherever you find it. That's it. Next also we can do it, but that's parliament related. Okay, that's what we have done. Okay, we have still not done all these things. And then what else will we do? Federal system, federalism, few other questions should be there. Okay. That's your local body, we'll do it later. Basic structure. This one, this question. Yeah, whatever morning we did that. What was the exact status, constitutional status of India on 26 Jan 1950? Answer is what then? B. Sovereign, Socialist, Secular, Democratic Republic. Fourth one is on which day? Which day in the sense which year, at least day is not, doesn't matter for us for that. Quarter after 46th Amendment 1976. Morning we discussed all those ones, very simple aspects. Okay, I think that's it. And then fine, union list, state list. Fine, lastly these are the ones based on whatever we have done till today. So we have to continue with what then? Then we have to start with preamble and then part 1, union and its territories, part 2, part 3, so that you have to continue with it. Fine, so then lastly it's okay. So we'll end it till today. So tomorrow again, maybe it's better we keep it a little early, maybe 8:30. Is it okay? Because maybe I think few students are still attending optionals. They were saying that, that's why actually I should have taken break at least for 10-15 minutes. Okay, then I thought you guys may have optionals by 5:30 or 6. So we'll announce it in the group. Probably it will be 8 or 8:30. I'll just discuss with them because that schedule all those ones. So and then we'll announce it. But whatever, that will remain the same. 3 plus 3. 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. So probably it will be 8 or 8:30. We'll just clarify it once. Okay, fine. Thank you.